That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of That Sounds Fun, Annie and Eddie Keep Talking edition. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I'm so happy to be here with you today. It is officially the first day of spring. Bless the Lord. Today on the show, our friend Eddie Kaufholz and I keep talking, and you know we're going to get into the hard-hitting stuff, like the relationship between brain size and head size. We're curious, talking animals, opening day of baseball, and, you know, spring stuff, you guys. But there is 7 minutes of series, too, because we had to talk about shoes and financial security and being misunderstood. We're going there today. I haven't cried on an Annie and Eddie Keep Talking in a long time. Here we are today. What better way to celebrate the official first day of spring and our last episode of the winter than with our pal, Edward. Don't forget to download your spring pages for your TSF Seasons guidebook. If you purchased it already, those were emailed to you. And if not, just head to anniefdowns.com/seasons to buy yours. There's no note-taking pages for today's episode, but you'll need your guidebook ready to go for Monday's spring episode. For now, let's keep talking with my pal and yours, Eddie Kaufholz. Annie and Eddie keep talking. It's what we do, Eddie.
It's nice. I feel like this is the first time I haven't been welcomed. Like now I'm just home. Like I just go in the front door, right? You know what I mean? Like we don't have to knock. It's just like, hey, anybody need a drink?
Here. Right.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Yeah, we're
Is
just
this
sitting
the first
over
time
there.
you haven't been welcomed? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I can't say that
be welcoming
definitively.
you at this point.
You do anything you want, but it feels good. It feels like it's like a real green light podcast friend.
Yeah.
Like we just here I am on the feed. It's not a big
Here it
deal. We're
is.
just here hanging out.
People love it. They're used to it. Do you have a list?
Kinda. I'm really running on rails this morning.
Are you? Tell us more.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. So you know I'm not here to self-promote, but you know I've been doing this pillar thing. And
Yes. It's a marketing company.
It's a creative and marketing agency. And it started as like a little side hustle. And it's kind of like grown into like a real thing that I'm super proud of. And we work with great clients. Again, this is not self-promotion.
Do you have employees?
I just hired a bookkeeper because
Great.
QuickBooks makes me want to scream and cry. And I have spent a year fighting with that program, and I either have too much money or no money, and I don't know which one.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, someone gave me advice very early in my career to pay attention to what's taking the most of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And then your next question is, am I the only one who can do this, or can I pay someone else to do it? Like editing a podcast was taking a ton of my time.
Oh, yeah.
And I hired Chad Michael Snavely, who we love.
Oh,
and then like my second external hire was a bookkeeper, was a business manager.
Yeah, I
game
realized
changer.
like if I can spend a nominal amount of money from the business in this, the return on it is
massive.
Exponential, but it's scary to do. It's been scary to do that because you're like, all I see is a minus, but then you're like, no, I have more time for clients. I have more time.
Right.
So I used some of that more time this morning to why I'm coming in on Rails to do like social media. Like, so I'm like, ring light that you bought me like years ago when we did a thing down by the fireplace, like recording like things that are going to be on like LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok because you gotta in the creative and marketing industry, you gotta be on those places. But I was like talking into camera this morning, trying to like, Annie, you can't know. Like I like this, you and me sitting in a virtual living room, no pressure. Just my friend and a bunch of other friends listening all day long. Talking into camera was absolutely.
What do you have to say?
Well,
are you giving tips on marketing? Is that what you're doing to kind of say, I'm an expert in this?
Yeah, except because I'm me, I can't talk like that. I'm not going to be like, I'm an expert on this. So like I recorded one this morning. It was basically like, here's what pillar is. And then it kind of started into like, I talked about like, hey, I had to make my first hire. Here's the barriers to making a hire. Here's what scared me about it. Here's why it was helpful.
Oh, cool.
I did one that was like, here's why my own social media is terrible, yet I'm in this industry. And you're like, what's the barrier of talking about yourself? So I'm trying to like bring people on the journey instead of being like influencery expert content, because I just won't ever ride comfortably with that. So I mean, like you're writing, you don't come from a place of high authority. You come from a place of like, allow me to expose my life to you in all of its most beautiful and awful and ugly and real. And now you can take that and walk your own.
Cool.
So I did that this morning, but my God, Annie, there is nothing in me that is supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm running on rails. So I'm just so happy to be talking to an actual.
Let's talk about the power of LinkedIn, though.
It's like kind of a thing now.
It's on my to-do list this week to update my LinkedIn. I will never have another job. God will. I mean, like, I in my brain, I kind of thought LinkedIn was for people who climb the corporate ladder and need to switch jobs A to B to A to B.
I know.
I won't ever do that. I won't ever do that, I don't think. And so, but then all of a sudden there's all these people being like, well, I found this on LinkedIn and I feel like you should see this on LinkedIn. And I'm like, oh, I should update my LinkedIn.
I think, yes, you should. And you're totally right. Like, I'm not job hunting. I'm great at bread. Like, I'm great with this side hustle. Like, it's all fantastic. Like, I'm not trying to make moves in that way. But I think it's because, like, Twitter X is just, for all intents and purposes, gone, right?
Gone. So sad. It was so fun when it was fun.
It was fun. Threads never really caught on. I mean, it's still there and some people are into it, but it's not the same critical mass. Blue Sky, there isn't like, I think it's turned into a place where I'm like, people are making a lot of content there that is actually helpful for me in all marketing.
Blue Sky or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, sorry. And I think people just kind of like went there because it's basically safe-ish.
Is there a feed?
Seem to be there's a full feed. There's a feed. There's like reels. There's like full reels and stuff that reels
I don't know any of this.
Play. I mean, it's like a real thing. And so it does feel somewhat, it does feel, I still have that in my head that it's like super corporate, but I get sent a lot of LinkedIn stuff and it's a really growing platform. So there I am, LinkedIn holding out. So I did the thing.
Same. So
you're going to do it?
Twitter. Yeah. I mean, I'm on there. I just don't update it very much. But like every time you launch a book, you're supposed to update it. So I should have done it when TJ came out. And, and because I own That Sounds Fun Network, where we do hire people and it is a company without necessarily a face like AFD Inc. So of the two companies that I own, TSF Network actually really benefits from LinkedIn. And so I need to be a more active person over there on behalf of that company.
Yeah, but it's hard to know like when to, because you're only one person that can only export so much content in the course of a day. And you're like, choosing to do a LinkedIn over there is choosing not to do something. So it's a hard balance.
Well, we're actually changing up my schedule. I think I've told you this before, but one of the things Ashley, my COO, has really helped me with is being a one hat person, meaning I only want, normally we try for me to only wear one hat a day. So like on a day I'm recording podcasts, I also don't have a writing block or a prepping for speaking block or a day that I'm prepping for speaking, the entire day is prepping or writing. And the days that I'm working on books, I don't open Slack if I'm working on a book. And so Ashley and Lillian have done a really beautiful job of giving me one hat days. We are incorporating one of my days to be a full network day so that I'm spending a whole day of my week as CEO, CCO, whatever, as co-owner of the network. And so things like, well, I should use some of my network hat time to update my LinkedIn and to make sure like I'm an active, because I'm a business owner as well. I mean, I think you and I talked about this, but my cousin always jokes that I'm the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and I'm the operator.
Hey, did you see me just point? Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah. Our mail person walks up our front drive every single day. Then she's my friend, and every day we point at each other. When she's coming up, we do like the cool friend point.
She delivers your mail at 10:23 a.m. Eastern time?
Yeah. It's kind of different, isn't it? And also it goes through a slot through the front door, which we have lived here for 3.5 years, and I still think we all jump and like are scared.
With joy? Oh,
No, with fear, because it sounds like someone's breaking into the house. And I mean, it's every day. The cat's startled, the dog, all of us gasp. Every day it just happened. So I point at her every day. She's like my pal.
Okay, great.
Okay, listen,
and you
can I
still
talk?
jump even though you pointed at her and watched her walk to your door. It still is a surprise to hear that beautiful
Still
sound.
so loud inside as she delivers
Shocking.
the day's recycling.
Literally.
Listen, I want to talk about business things with you twice because I don't want to miss, but just because I got distracted with the post office. One,
Okay.
is it possible? Is there a world where you actually have different hats made? And today's hat, you just
like
put
in
it on.
Gutenberg.
Yeah, it like that was such a great reference.
Yeah.
That was so much faster. Gutenberg. Can you tell people
Gutenberg.
what that? Just in
Yeah, the
case.
Gutenberg was a musical that was on last year starring Andrew. Oh no, what's his last name? Here we're about
I
to
don't
go
know,
again.
but he was awesome, and he was in like
He's
Girls.
so
and he's
funny.
Just like
He was
a
in
crazy
Girls.
good
He was
actor.
in Book of Mormon. He's really funny.
He's talented.
Gannels, maybe Garrels, and Josh Gad, and
Yeah.
they were when I tell you this was one of the finest shows I've ever seen in my life, and it opened and closed in a year. They always were only planning on doing a year.
Yeah.
It will never tour. It was an extraordinary experience. I think I saw it 3 times.
Wow.
They were 2 guys who pretended like the idea was, we have come to this audience to present a musical, hoping one of you will step in and be the producer.
Yeah.
And so we're going to act out the whole musical and we're going to play every part because we didn't have any money to bring in actors to show you. So we're going to show you about how Gutenberg invented the printing press. And so as they switched characters, they switched literal hats, and
Funny.
it was hysterical. They were so
Funny.
good. They were so good. So
Who were your famous?
Okay,
And also, every night they had a cameo of somebody that came in at the end. Do you remember any of yours?
okay, the night around Thanksgiving that we did it was okay. I'll come back to that one. Betty Who was one of them. Chuck Schumer. That's who it was at Thanksgiving. It was Chuck Schumer. Betty Who is a musician, an artist, a pop artist who at the time was also in Hadestown.
Oh, okay.
And so she came and was, but I mean, every famous person that passed through New York was, so that person at the end of the show would run up with the producer hat on and say, I want to produce your show. And they would freak out. And it was great.
I love that. Okay. So I would like you to have a hat that's just like, it just says writer. And so today, despite the fact that you're doing your hair up and getting all fancy for TVs and stuff, I'd just like you to be wearing a hat that says podcast.
Okay. I gotta confess something. I think you know this about me.
Oh, I do.
I have a very small head. Andrew Rannells is his name, by the way. Andrew Rannells.
I have a
Josh Gad.
huge head.
And so I don't wear hats.
And I
It
can
makes me
barely
feel
wear
like
hats.
BB-8. And so
BB-8.
I
but
feel
your
like
head on
BB-8
top of
when I
my
wear a
head
hat.
actually is BB-8 because I'm the base of
Yeah,
it.
that's
I have
it.
to
That's it.
whenever I go into any cool store like a Lids or something, I'm going to try on the biggest one, the biggest fitted one, and then have to go up to the front desk and be like, do you have this with a full extra half-inch on it?
Man,
that you
our brain sizes must be so different. What I would give. I just have a pea brain.
No, I can assure you that mine is just absolutely, there's no extra capacity.
We need the medical field that is our friends on the other side. We need our medical friends to step in. Do Eddie and I have different size heads, but the same size brain? Or does the size of your head affect the size of your brain or vice versa?
Here's all that I know for sure that I could extrapolate some answer, but I think we got to wait till medical people. Like different animals, can you feel this not working?
I could just feel everyone being like, people saying, this is what I would pay American dollars for, is us realizing that we don't know. I think we need to start a new show called Things Annie and Eddie Don't Know.
Right.
I did not know things about Paul McCartney. And we do not know if our brains are affected by the size of our heads.
But we will both speak definitively and knowledgeably about these topics.
To
and
quote
I don't even
Dave
think
Barnes,
knowledgeably
we may
is a
not
word.
be right, but we are sure.
Right. We are adamantly wrong.
So I have a small head. So I would like to not put different hats on, but maybe I need like buttons, or maybe I need signs by my office door that kind of relay what day I'm on. Though I don't go in on writing days.
Taylor Swift bracelet kind of things, where it's just a little thing that you could remind yourself who you are today.
Yes. Or just like a flip calendar that sits on my desk. Today, I'm a writer. Today, I'm a CEO, because our Mondays are all meetings, because Monday is when we run AFD Inc. And so on Mondays, I am just a CEO. I'm not recording. Yeah. Now, this Monday we recorded, which I have to tell you what happened. Please. But this Monday we recorded, and so there are times where other things have to pop in, but in general, Monday I wear my CEO hat. Yes. Wednesday I record, which is what we're doing this exact day. Today's a Wednesday. And Thursday, Friday I write. And Tuesday is Tuesday's going to end up being half network.
Yes.
So anyway, do you do that with Bread and with Pillar, which was
Pillar
also my favorite rock band ever?
And with Life, yeah. I mean, I try to. What I definitely don't do, because I do run, I run this agency, and I'm like fully committed to the work I get to do at Bread. Yes. And quiet quitting to me is not a thing I'm not willing to like double up on them. Yeah, of course. So Pillar ends up getting like some evening hours of like Brienne's at a thing, I'm at a thing, because I don't want to steal from family either. Yeah, of course. And that's kind of how it works.
Girls are living their lives. Brienne's somewhere.
Right. Like this morning I was doing 15 takes of a TikTok video at 8:30, and then 9 o'clock I pop on and it's Bread time. And then the only thing I sometimes hop in and do during a day is AFD time.
But Pastor Eugene Cho, we appreciate you.
I know, but it's okay. It's okay. Everybody loves it.
He'll be fine with it.
He'll be fine with it. But okay, listen. No, there are so many threads we have to close.
Okay.
Can I close a few real quick?
Yeah.
Because my brain's melting. One, the brain thing I wanted to say about animals is I do think larger animals have bigger brains. Like elephants and whales are pretty smart. Squirrels are not very smart. There's got to be some correlation with brain size. Although monkeys are pretty smart.
Vets and human med people.
Hey, hold on.
To us.
Chimpanzees, pretty small. Chimpanzees smaller than you and me, and it's pretty smart.
Very smart. I think. Listen, I just read a book, Levi Lesko's new book. This is not a paid. This is a reverse sponsor. Blessed are the spiraling. In it, he talks about heaven, and he talks about whether animals will be able to talk in heaven. And the references he uses, of course, are the donkey talking in the Bible, right? But the other thing he says that I've never thought about is Eve was not surprised when the snake spoke to her.
Ew, that's a creepy one. Meaning like that's been sitting right there the whole time.
Yeah. That's that she responds to him, but we don't have like a verse that says Eve was shocked when the animal spoke.
Ew, that's like the Illuminati eye on the back of the dollar bill. Like it's been looking at you your whole life. Oh my gosh.
Right. So but snakes have very small brains.
I believe Waffles.
He was very cunning.
I believe Waffles and I will not talk, but I believe we'll have the same exact relationship.
You don't think you'll? Why won't you talk to Waffles?
Because
why won't Waffles talk to you?
We don't. Why would she talk? That was never part of her thing. Why are animals all of a sudden chatting?
Why?
Like, weren't they fine?
Jenna, can you pull that quote? Why are animals all of a sudden chatting? I'm just curious with Levi, is there a world called heaven? Yes, there is. Will heaven include talking animals? I don't know.
I don't. Part of the thing that works with Waffles is that she doesn't talk.
Well, that's what you think. Can't wait to hear her point of view.
That's a good point. In a day full of chatting, I just like my little pal to sit on my tum-tum while I read a book,
Well, when we get to heaven, let's make this promise to each other and ourselves. We will do a podcast episode in heaven. Annie and Eddie keep talking eternally. And Waffles gets involved. We give Waffles a microphone.
Oh, yeah. If Waffles is chatting in heaven, my girl gets a microphone.
We got to put a microphone in front of her and just see what she does.
Is she going to?
Yeah. Because no offense, but I think she's going to beat me there. I'm sorry to tell you. I think she's going to beat us there.
That is offensive.
I'm just guessing based
really
on
good care of her.
science. Yeah. But she's still a cat.
You need to gentle up a little bit.
Did they live 40 years?
No, but I do love her.
I know. I'm sorry.
Talk about the dog. The dog could disappear tomorrow and I'm fine. But
so
Kaufholz is my most special
your
girl.
Pet arrives in heaven before us, I'd like your pet to go ahead and set up the podcast studio. When I get there, I'd like a human to say, follow Waffles, but Waffles not speak. Follow Waffles to this podcast because I don't want to know until we've hit record. I want it to be recorded and a surprise for all of us, for you and me, the first time we hear Waffles. Now, if one of us beats the other one there, we can't record without the other one.
No, we can't keep talking without the other one.
It can't be Waffles and Eddie keep talking until I get there, or Waffles and Annie keep talking until you get there.
But isn't there like a thing with heaven though, that it's like all the same time? Like we'll all be there. It's like time is mushy. I mean, we don't really know, right? Did he talk about that in his book?
No, Levi did not talk about how time works necessarily, unfortunately.
So he had a choice.
I did read a book
talk
called,
about talking animals or time.
Yeah.
I would have gone with talking animals too.
Yeah, he knows his audience. He's a very smart writer. He is. He does a lot of research. But I also read a book called The 4 Views of Heaven, or I listened to the audiobook, and it's like 4 theologians talking about their thoughts on heaven. It was very interesting. It was very good. I would encourage you to read the actual book over the audiobook, and here's why. The guy narrating it in the book, it goes from theologian with a thought, paragraph, to theologian who's putting the book together, having a rebuttal to his thought, right?
Oh, screw tape
But
letters.
in the audio book, it's one voice. And so it's hard to, it was, so I would say grab the real book. Okay, we closed that loop. Sorry.
Close that loop. Second thing is, you were talking at the beginning about like businessy things. I've never heard you, and I'm glad you don't use the term like girl boss or anything like that.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm not judging people because some people here listening probably like that term, but like Brienne has specifically made me very aware of terms like that, like WNBA.
Yeah.
Right? That that's another thing. It was sitting right in front of me.
And it's not MNBA. It's so the men's MBA it's titled with an M. Yeah, I see you.
Right. And
I do not use the term girl boss.
Right.
I am a boss.
Right. You're rocking it. You own 2 businesses. You wear different hats every single day.
Yeah. Different
making moves, and you're just a boss.
Yeah, but
you're
even
just in charge of things.
I mean, Ashley is the CEO at our company. She's a boss. She's one of the bosses at our company. She's not one of the girl bosses at our company. I'd appreciate that girl boss is cute. Yeah, gentleman boss is cute. But it's a cute term. I don't disparage anyone who likes girl boss. I just don't. It doesn't move my thinking or my career forward to be called a girl boss.
I know there's like a lot of conversation about gender that probably is not an Annie and Eddie keep talking conversation, but there is a certain gendering of success that I think is like, oh, you're successful as a woman, like a female, whatever. Like I always wonder how long award shows are gonna do like best male, best female. Like, isn't there? Which I get it, but why differentiate success in that way?
Oh, I've never thought about that.
Why do you can't you put, let's put the 2 greatest. Couldn't you put Meryl Streep up against, Daniel Day-Lewis and feel like they're peers? Why is the gender a factor in any part of the entire equation?
Because it's not in the director. It's only in actors. It's not in sound engineer. It's not in costume design. It's only the actors.
Yeah. It's musicians, it's all those awards. I don't understand that. So there are certain things that I just don't understand the gendering. There are certain things I do understand. And I also understand the complexity of gendering and how that, all that aside, there are certain things I'm like, why are we even introducing that into the equation? It makes as little sense to me as like best red-haired actor and best blonde-haired actor. I'm like, why are they, who cares?
Yeah, because this particular skill set is not, as we are saying in this conversation, that particular skill set of being an actor is not enhanced or held back by your gender.
yeah, it's
Whereas there are other things so I like this. Is why I like talking to you, Eddie, because it's also like you are not making a sweeping statement of there should never be separation.
I
Not at
think there
all.
is a valuable and really difficult conversation happening right now about athletics.
Yes.
And
That's
that
exactly
is
what I was thinking about too.
That's a real hard one. And one that
Yes.
I wouldn't even walk into right now because I'm like, man, there's really smart thoughts on all parts of this. And there's a lot of emotion and there's real athletes that are
Yes.
really smart and really passionate. And it's murky in that area because there is, well, I don't need to say because there is, like, it's murky, but there are just certain things like the titling of things, like a female boss, like
Yeah.
female entrepreneur. I get it because of like, there's a point where it's like, we're honoring, we're calling out that, like, maybe like women historically and currently, you know, there's pay gap differences, there's
there's some
opportunity
different
differences.
challenges. Yes.
But to say but there's a nuance there that it's like to call them out as a woman who did it is like, no, they did it because they're awesome, despite the fact that they were farther back in the line
Yes.
because of some like deep held prejudices along so. Yeah, it's interesting the
that's
gendering
really interesting. It is really helpful. I mean, there's a couple of women business leaders that I follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
And part of it is because I want to see how they tackle some
Yeah.
of the problems that women in leadership in companies deal with that may be different than how men have that problem or deal with it.
Mhm.
So I'm very into paying attention to where women are leading. I love
Right.
not saying, not necessarily labeling us all that differently, outward facing.
Yeah, we should pushing it back against any, you know, ism or difference that we're called out that disparages someone, right? Like
Yeah,
we need
that's
to be
right.
paying attention to like how race is factoring into our decisions and our
Yep.
and right. We need to be talking about age. We need to talk about
Yep.
gender, all of these things in terms of making sure that there's equality for opportunity.
Right.
But there's certain things I'm just like, why do we gender some of that stuff? Also, I gotta
Yeah.
apologize. I'm drinking out of a big water bottle today, and I usually just
Yeah.
have a little cup, but I got a throat full of sand, and
It's very pretty.
yeah, it's by Liberty Bottle Works, reverse sponsorship. I have had
Okay.
this probably longer than I've owned anything, and it's a map
really
of Mount
pretty.
Rainier, and I love Liberty Bottle
Oh,
Works.
interesting.
And they
Yeah,
make
you're making
great
me
little-
jealous because I sat down at my desk and I don't have any water. So
Do you need to go get water?
dying
can
of
pause.
thirst. Dying
can
of thirst.
I can chit chat for a second.
No. We're great.
What would I possibly do? I would shut down so hard if you were like, "I'll be back in 30 seconds."
I'd be like, tell a story, and you'd be like, "Ugh."
Anyhow,
How
back to
dare
why
I?
animal brains are like. Here's some more signs
possibly.
for you. Okay,
Oh, I love
all threads are
animals.
closed. Now we're back up to where we were at before.
That sounds fun.
Okay, now back to our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
Let me tell you what I did on this podcast the other day, and I'm not going to
Great.
say whose it was because I want you to vote with me on what to do,
Okay.
whether I ask them to remove this.
Okay.
The podcaster was asking me, what do you miss when you're in New York? Yes?
By the way, I already have an answer. But keep
Okay.
going.
Well, say
The
your
fact that-
answer.
The fact that you have to ask the question,
Means probably have them edit it out.
I always trust that gut instinct. Anytime I think to myself, should I email that? 100%. The fact that, but keep going because I want to hear the
Well,
story. But
one of my fatal flaws is I assume people will hear me with good intention. I think it's a lot of us. I think we all assume we will be judged by our actions.
oh yeah,
Sorry, we think we'll be judged by our intentions and not our actions, but we judge other people by their actions, not their intentions.
Yeah.
A pastor said that a long time ago at my church, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's true. I always am like, why didn't y'all understand what I was trying to do? But what
Yeah.
someone else does, I take at face value. So here's what happened. They were asking me, when you're in Nashville, what do you miss about New York? When you're in New York, what do you miss about Nashville? And when I was listing what I missed in Nashville, what had happened that morning is when I got dressed, I thought, I wish I had these other black shoes because I don't have the black shoes with me. And almost every time I come to New York, I regret a pair of shoes. I always think, oh, shoot, I would have worn those 3 times had I thought to bring them.
Yes.
And so I said, what I miss are my people and my shoes. And I was kind of like, I know that sounds privileged, but what I mean is that, like you can't bring everything, all your stuff from one house. And I was like, there are times where I wish I could pull a book off a bookshelf and pull a quote, but that book is in my Nashville home. And I felt sticky about it because I feel like it sounds, oh, you left your shoes at your other house. But I'm like, no, I didn't leave 1,000 pairs of shoes at my other house. I left a couple of pairs of shoes at my Nashville home that I wish I had here. What do you think?
Can I take a really big swing that I fully think could be wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, there is part of it that's like, you're in a different era of your life where you are having the narrative of scrappiness doesn't really hold anymore because you're out of that. Like you have 2 very successful businesses, a behemoth of a industry, you're New York Times bestselling author, and you have 2 homes, one in Nashville and one in New York. There's a different reality that's hard because you're very much scrappy that, right? Growing up, you still have the internal mentality, but also there's just a reality that it's you live in the fruit of a ton of hard work, and you would say luck, but that's all. I'm quoting you, but and so it's weird because sometimes you're acknowledging the underlying weirdness is that I feel like it's weirder to talk about the fact that you live in 2 places because it's whoa, you Annie lives in 2 places.
Right.
And so maybe shoes just kind of triggered that because I don't think the way you just said it was of course you're a pro at this and you wrapped it in, you wrapped it in privilege and probably too much self-deprecation and a little bit of humor. And there's no one listening to it that would ever think, oh my God, is she that shallow that she misses shoes?
Yeah, that's my fear is oh, she misses her shoes. What a brat. And I'm like, no, I missed a pair of shoes. I missed one. I missed one pair of black shoes this morning when I went to put them on.
I know.
But
sometimes when I make jokes around things that are even slightly tender, I can't orient the joke. I can't figure out if it was right or wrong.
Because we're already in a conversation about living in 2 places. So I need to just either ask them to remove an entire conversation that is true or be okay if 3 people think, what a brat, she forgot her black shoes.
Am I wrong? Was I wrong when I said that? Do you think that was
No, I think that is
overstretching?
there is boy, 7 minutes is serious. I mean, there is a core thing in me about money that is hard for me. Can
I ask you about that?
Yeah, it just is I some of it is nature and some of it was how I was nurtured to talk about it. And there is the thing that God is dealing with me really significantly right now through some decisions we've made at work and in Lent is how money can be an idol to me because it makes me feel safe. And in a world where I ended up taking care of myself for 25 years after college instead of a partner who we both bring in income. Money has felt like a if you have enough, you'll be okay. And then you never have enough. You never have enough to feel okay. So it's a bottomless pit.
That is as close to being the human condition as possible. I don't think there's anybody listening. I can only speak for myself when I'm yes, it is it is one of the few quantifiable measures of some kind of safety.
Yeah.
If I have this amount, I have this amount of safety. If I have 6 months of emergency, I can have 6 months of everything going to junk. And then but then you don't actually feel it. It's why pastors a lot when they're teaching on tithing say, if you don't give now, you won't give then. You think now that I make $50,000, I don't have enough to give, but as soon as my income is $100,000, I'll start tithing. And it's just not true. Yeah. You're either practicing generosity or you're not. And it isn't and the same is true about when money becomes an idol for me. It is never about the amount of money. It is always about
I don't feel safe. I don't feel in control. If I just had fill in the blank,
Right.
$10 more, $100 more, $1 million more. If I just had any amount more, then I would feel okay. And it never is true, Eddie. It's never true.
It's not, but it's hard because you're always chasing it because you're chasing it in your business too, right? Like
Yeah.
you write a book out of passion, but the way you know if it was critically successful, there's only a few measures. One is how many times was it purchased and downloaded, and two, like how much money was made off of it. You're not saying it's important, but it's this thing you have to continually reference.
And with employees, it's not just me.
Oh yeah. You
Right,
think I'm
so-
free? I am very expensive. I am a professional podcast man.
That's right. No, but you're feeling it with
I know.
hiring a business. I mean, it's so
yes,
scary to
yes,
say, come
Yes,
work
yes.
here. I promise I'll show up every day and do my part to make sure your family gets dinner. I mean,
Sure. And
that is,
sure.
yeah.
And zoom out, our mortgage is more than what like 98% of the entire planet makes in a year. Like, right? Like there's just like crazy economies of scale happening here. And you're in a different one. Like you're entering in. Yeah. And it's hard. I don't know an easy solution for that because it would be hard still having the mentality of feeling scrappy, but also having a certain level of like security and ability and freedom that you didn't have when you were editing your own podcast. It's been hard fought 10 plus years, 25. How long?
I've been doing this job full time since April 1st of 2012.
Right.
So 13 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's
3 times as long as I taught school, which is insane.
Yeah. And so a little comment about shoes,
Unlocked this thing.
Right. And the hard part is that it's actually kind of true. And it actually probably is like, should I just buy 2 pairs of every shoe and have one set in New York and one set in Nashville? Right. That's
crazy.
Yeah, but is it, Annie?
I do have a robe here that I don't bring back and forth.
Okay. Sure. We can open that can of worms. So we want to talk robes? Sure. Yeah. So I don't know, but
it's
but
hard,
also,
right? Because money
there's also
is
part of
just
it too.
money. It's just money. It just comes and
I know.
goes.
I know.
But then when
I
you
know.
don't have any, it feels like way more than money. And when you're struggling, I mean, I'm getting teary talking about it. Some of the decisions we've made lately that feel right, that I know are right, are not the decisions that bring in the most money.
Yeah.
And I have to make that decision. I mean, I was walking. I'll tell this.
Yeah.
I was walking at Central Park last week praying about this big decision we were making.
Yeah.
And there was the yes was to do the job and the no was to not do the job.
Yeah.
And I was saying to God, okay, do I need to ask the whole team? Do I call all these people? Do I do all these things? And how many votes do I get before I do this? And super clearly, it was like the Lord said, sometimes you're just the general and you lead the army.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, but that means I have to make this decision and then they just all have to live under it.
Right. Yeah.
And it is adding hard to our work life. It's adding complication to our work life.
Yeah.
And so all this is going on and it's Lent. So we're dealing with this. And then I say, I forgot a pair of shoes I wish I had. And it spirals me.
Right.
Because.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why.
And none of this is safety. None of this is real safety. None of this is real security. Right. All of this is it's just an illusion of something we have to do to figure out how to trade and get food and shelter and water. Right. And it's also something that people you love struggle with. And it's so deeply complex. And also, for someone on the outside watching your world, they just think, oh, she just posts on Instagram and it's smiling in a camera and then she writes and then she podcasts. I'm like, that's the icing on the cake. Yeah. Most of the cake is making brutally different decisions that are to scale, affecting a lot of people and are not easy to do. Like the AFD forward facing thing is all very real, but it is a reward for wearing a Monday hat and a Tuesday hat, right? Wearing I empathize with that because it all scales. I think someone that's, having to I think someone who's, struggling to make ends meet in the same way is handling a very different but similar stress where it's like, it's hard to have to fight for this, but what other choice do I have? What choice do we have? We gotta figure out.
Why is money the thing in the Bible that we're so warned about, right? Like you can gain the whole world, but lose your soul. The root of money, the love of money is the root of evil, right?
I know.
And so there's just so many good warnings. And so part of all of this, of what Lent is doing to me and what this one particular decision has done, and it's why the shoe thing came at normally I would pass over it and be like, people do not care that I forgot my black shoes. Mm-hmm. But the real truth is God is rooting something out of me to make sure that I mean, Psalm 16 says, trouble multiplies for those who chase other gods.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to. And so he's rooting out parts of me where I was doing that and didn't even have that language 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But because it's so raw, the shoe comment, I didn't plan to do any of this clearly, but the shoe comment rubbed me so wrong because it hit right on this spot that feels so raw for me right now.
Yeah.
Because we're making such big decisions.
Yeah. And then, so the choice is, what do you actually do? Do we edit it out or not? Because the comment in and of itself is not.
Yeah, who cares, right? It's not that big of a deal.
It in context is not the issue. And you're already very comfortable. Well, I would assume you have at least had a lot of practice with perceptions of you being varied. You live in too public a world not to understand.
It's my least favorite thing. I think that's the other reason this pinged me so wrong is I hate being misunderstood. Everyone does. Of course. No one wants to be misunderstood. Yes, and so I just thought, someone I don't know is going to listen to me on this other person's podcast and misunderstand what I meant. So it's either like leave it in. And also there's all of this context. We just did somewhere between 7 and 12 minutes but it mattered, right? It's a bigger conversation. Or for me, where I would go, when in doubt, I cut, or when in doubt, I just pull it back, or when in doubt, I apologize, because there's something like it's too unresolved for me to sit with it. Like there are things I could talk. So I wonder if I text the podcaster and say, what were you thinking in that moment? I'm considering if we remove it because I didn't put it enough in context.
Yes.
And then let her decide.
I think that's wise. And then you have all of this.
That sounds fun.
And now back to finish up our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
We took a little break for everyone listening because Eddie had to let someone in. I had to get water.
And we are back. That sounds like
we're back. Like we're radio thing. Yeah.
And we're back.
What
6:30 in the morning. Quick check of the traffic.
I'm glad we don't do that.
Oh, I do.
What else is on your list?
Oh, nothing. I just am like fully in it with you today. I had so much stuff last time. I just was like run on rails. Just wanted to see you. I will say, when is this show coming out? Do we know?
I know what you're going to talk about. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper.
Oh, this is like the old Johnny Carson bit.
Yes, because I'm so sure I know why you're asking this. Mm-hmm. Hold on, everybody. I
had some stuff, but
it's written down and it's closed. The pin is closed. This episode comes out March 20th.
Ooh, March 20th. Okay, March 20th. All right. So as of the recording of this episode, we have made not significant, but not insignificant inroads with the Kennedy Center and Conan. Is that,
Yes.
can I see your piece of paper?
No, I was going to say opening day of baseball.
Oh,
Because
Annie.
opening day happens right between us recording this and everybody hearing it. Sorry.
I'd much prefer to talk opening day.
No, we
How are
gotta
you
talk
feeling about your
Conan,
Braves
though.
this year?
We got to talk about Conan first. Then
I
we'll do
basically
opening
just
day.
wanted people to know, we don't know if I get to go to Conan. We don't know if anybody
Yeah,
gets
that's
to go to
right.
Conan, but it will be on television, so you can watch it.
I need to tell you something.
What?
Fallon, in her communication that she has not heard back from
Yes.
with the Kennedy Center, did offer for you to be on the red carpet to get to do interviews.
Sure she did. I mean, she's right. This is the year of yes. Just go for
She
it, Fallon.
believes in you. She believes in you.
And Fallon, I emailed her and we've been in connection about it so that
Good.
this poor media person at the Kennedy Center isn't getting like 2 streams of like, who is this man?
Sure, they should be getting 2 streams of it.
Why should he be standing next to the Washington Post? Okay,
Yes, that's right.
sure.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, opening day of baseball. I can't wait. So, born and raised Braves fan, but
Yeah.
because Dansby's a Cub, that's who I keep up with the most. Is I keep up with Dansby, and so I'm not necessarily a Cubs fan. I just care most about how, like, my hierarchy of what I care about currently is Dansby, Braves, Cubs.
Annie, this is so funny. You have brought up my favorite thing of baseball lately that I hadn't realized that I loved, but that I love, which is how you can have your team,
Yep.
but then for other reasons, you start to fall in love with like other teams. So
Yes.
for me, 2019, Washington Nationals win the World Series.
Yes.
I love every single one of those, every single one of those players, right?
Yes.
And they're all gone. I don't think there's anybody left. They all got bought off. They became super valuable. Nats couldn't keep them out of here.
Yes.
So I am deeply invested in, like, for a while, the Phillies, which
Yes.
I should deeply dislike the Phillies,
Phillies.
right?
Yikes.
But Trey Turner, who I love so much, plays shortstop, and I'm a Trey Turner fan, Or
Boy, that's tough, though. No offense to our Philadelphia friends, the Phillies
Juan
and the
Soto?
Braves.
Juan Soto on the Mets, like everybody in our division.
Have you been to a Mets or a Yankees game? I feel like I need to do that this summer in New York.
Have I not shown? Can you not see that thing behind me?
Oh, yeah? I don't know who that is, though.
Oh,
Strasburg?
but do you see what's on top of it? Hell, can I go get it?
Tiny
Can we
baseballs?
can we just keep the podcast going while I do it?
Yeah, keep going.
Here, I'll use this little thing to get it down.
I need to figure out when the Cubs play one of the New York teams. That might be my win, is going to see Dansby when he's in New York, because Nashville does not have a team.
Okay, so I have a collection of baseballs. This is when I went to go see the Phillies.
Okay, so for our listening friends, the baseball has a Phillies logo. On it.
Yeah, you can buy them.
How do you get those? Oh, you buy them.
I buy them there, and then I write on the back. So this one was April 9th, 2022. I went with Bree, Eve, and Lucy, and they played the A's.
Great.
So that was that game. So yes, I've been to. I was just about to take you through every baseball, but I realized that's not fun. But
How
yes,
many are
I've
there?
seen
Maybe it's fun.
3, 6, 7, 8. So
Do you have the goal to go to every stadium? I know a lot of people
you hesitated. What were you about to say? Dads?
Men.
Yeah,
Men.
I knew
And
it.
I changed
And
it.
it's okay.
I changed it
I know.
because
The
there
post-
are bound to be women who have this goal too.
So I have been, yes, hold on. To answer your original question. Uh-oh, this isn't fun. Please
I'm having a
insert
great time.
waiting room music.
Nope.
Okay, yes, I have been to a Mets game.
To the Mets game. Okay. But not a Yankees game yet.
Right. I saw them on August 6th, 2017 with Brienne. They played LA. Great game. Great game to see LA. I just saw Justin Turner play. It was fantastic. Okay, here's what I want to say. You got to really, as a kind of dual citizen of New York, you do need to land on a New York team. And
Oh boy. Okay.
you need to figure out. So there's a couple ways to do the New York and Yankees thing. So one is like where you live,
Yeah.
because I believe Yankee Stadium is in the Bronx.
Yes.
Yes.
You go up to Yankee Stadium because I see that sometimes on the train.
Yeah. And the Mets
people.
are in. I don't
Are they in
remember
Brooklyn?
Maybe. I'm sorry, I don't know this stuff. So part of it is location, but that kind of doesn't matter for you. Let's talk about celebrities that are into each team. So maybe you'll identify.
Great. Okay.
New York Mets. I mean, you got a lot there, but the ones that would be most salient to us: Lorne Michaels.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Jimmy Fallon.
Really?
Yeah.
Mets
they're a lot.
over Yankees?
They're all Yankees. Yankees hats, Yankees games.
Oh, you're saying Yankees. You're not saying Mets. You're saying Yankees.
Right. Now, Mets over there, you got Jerry Seinfeld, big Mets fan. You got who else is a Mets fan? Ferris Bueller.
Matthew Broderick.
Right. There are others. So you got to, I mean, sometimes you can look up by your celebrity.
The colors are very easy. I mean, I do not wear orange. You know this about me. And so Mets is going to fall in that, no offense, Florida Gator, Auburn, Tennessee color wheel, where Yankees are white and navy.
Listen, I got to reveal my bias, and you can do you.
You love orange.
But it's not about the orange and blue, because if you're actually a Gator, seeing that New York Mets orange doesn't even register as the same orange.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
A completely different. We would never confuse the two.
Okay.
But I do like the Yankees are such a beloved team, but I love the Mets. They are so scrappy. They are typically terrible. I love an underdog team, and I love the second team in a league with another dominant team. LA Clippers. Like, oh my God, come on.
Oh, right.
People don't even remember that they exist. Right?
Don't remember they exist.
It's so fun because when they do, and so now the Mets are, and having been to the stadium, now I really do want to go to Yankee Stadium, and I really want to see it because it's history. I loved being at, I forget what it's called now, but it's like Citibank Field or something, but I think it's Shea Stadium.
Yeah, it's Citibank Field, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You see it when you fly over.
It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous.
If anybody listening works for the Mets or the Yankees, hit us up.
Invite.
Because I think the real is I need to go on a first date with each of them.
I don't know. Because I'm okay with your Cubs, because Cubs just don't they're great.
They're America's team.
They are, and they are even though they won, they're still one of the perpetual underdogs ever.
I mean, if Dansby wasn't there, I wouldn't watch them because they aren't on TBS anymore at 11:05.
I know. But you can't have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and then blow the World Series. It just can't. Now, Chad Michael Snavely's dying and angry. He and I are fairly contentious with each other during baseball season. But listen, okay, we'll wrap up. I'll wrap up my baseball chat. But yes, I'm excited about opening day. I do want you to find some sub teams that you can love, because the Braves are super fun. But this is the great thing about baseball is you don't have to fully go in, but you can kind of love other teams.
That's right.
Right?
Until it pairs down in September. And then you got to pick a team and ride that team out to the win.
Nats are my ride or die.
I know. That's I mean, Braves are going to be my ride or die. Braves are where I have memories. But I mean, I have, a long history of wearing Braves paraphernalia to middle school on Braves Day. So
yes. On Braves Day. Right. That
on
exists.
Braves Day, of course it happened. Of course it did. We went to Walmart and got new t-shirts the night before. I was thrilled.
But here's what I really want you to do in your life, stadium-wise. I would like you to go to see a Boston Red Sox game.
Okay. Tell me why. Is that Fenway?
Yes. That stadium was emotional. It was so...
Is that the oldest park in the nation?
I don't know, but it's got to be one of the two or three. It is, and it feels it. They haven't touched it. They've clearly had to modernize certain parts of it. But to see a game at Fenway, I've never experienced baseball like that overall. Either just both in terms of the architecture of the place. It is old, and it is you feel like you're stepping into the Ken Burns documentary. Oh, yeah. And it is, and it's not fake old. When you walk into one of those kitschy, tourist traps, this is old baseball. There are receptacles there to drop coins in to pay for some children's fund, and it's hand painted signage. Got it. Go. Okay. It is old, but the game itself, there is. I don't know that I've ever been in a better sporting crowd than and we were cheap seats outfield, which was perfect. People are shoulder to shoulder. It's packed, totally sold
Another
out.
dual team market: Red Sox and White Sox.
What? No, Chicago.
No, Chicago is White Sox and Cubs.
God, the gift
Boston
just happened.
is Red Sox.
I just saw it. I just saw the Boston and then the breaking and then the two.
Yes.
No.
Sorry. No, they don't share Sox. They share Chicago.
Right. I mean, they both have,
team.
So,
Boston Red
but
Sox.
like,
okay.
I'm going to finish it with this, but like in Boston, like to watch a game, they sing a Neil Diamond song, Sweet Caroline.
Yes, that is his song.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just making sure that's the right song. I think that's the song. And they just scream it and just people are drinking and crazy and laughing. And I mean, it is a community party. And this was a very unimportant game. Hold on, when was it? This was a very unimportant game in the middle of the season that I went to. Okay, July 31st, 2024 versus the Mariners.
Oh, it's just last summer.
Yeah, I went with Brienne. And I'm telling you, the Mariners never had a shot. This game was inconsequential. And that it was like you were at a Game 7 of the World Series. Everything mattered. And it was such a beautiful place. I think Fenway is like baseball church.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. That's like 4 stadiums I want to hit this summer because I really want to see Dansby play in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to see Mets and Yankees because I don't know how long I'll to be a dual citizen.
Yeah.
And I meant to go last summer and I just never did. And I want to see Boston.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's my summer baseball travel year.
Oh, it's so classic, right?
Why not?
You could car ride it. You could like a road trip at the baseball games.
I can drive to Boston from New York, right?
Yeah. It's like not far at all.
Yeah.
And if I may add,
you may.
The Kaufholz family goes to somewhere on a good year. We might go to 10 games in 10 Nats games in a season. We would love to take you to a Nats game.
Wait, you already know I'm coming to do you know I'm coming to DC in May for like 4 days or 5 days? Let's go while I'm there.
Really? Let's text about dates really, at minimum, have dinner at our house. At minimum, maximum, let's go to a game.
Yes.
And
Lillian's going to be reaching out to you about recording in person. Because I'm teaching at National Community Church at Mark Batterson's on a Sunday. And then that Monday and Tuesday, I think I'm recording shows.
Dude, let's do it. You can also just, if you need to, this is just shop talk. I've got a full podcast studio here. If you want to just set up and do other stuff, I'll leave you alone.
Well, the thing is that we have like 5 guests that we want to interview. And so I don't want to make you have to host people in your house.
That would be fine, but it would be weird for you because it's literally just a house in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, so there's a church that's letting us use their podcast studio.
Fantastic. Annie, come on.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to look up the schedule as soon as we hang up.
Please, because we could go to a baseball game. So anyhow, baseball stadiums, great. Love opening
What
day.
What if I hit 5 this summer? What if I did, what are y'all called now? The Commanders? No.
Ew.
Nats.
No, we're the Washington Nationals. The Commanders are the football team, and
That's
they
right.
are, I don't even care about them.
That's right. What if I hit the DC stadium, 2 New York stadiums, a Boston stadium, and a Chicago stadium? What if that's my summer vacation? I just go to
it would
one-offs
be really
to games.
P.S. You're in some of the greatest cities in the world. You know one of them very well. Chicago is the greatest. Boston is a wonderful place.
Yeah. Okay.
DC,
I need to start
such
thinking
good
about
food.
this for real. Doing
You'd have
taking my vacation couple of days and making it a baseball centric vacation. I mean, by the time people hear this, our sports desert is over.
Oh, it's over.
I can't wait. We're days away from our sports desert being over. Once football ends, I just feel like, because I'm not a basketball person or really a hockey person. I like hockey, but I just don't go very much.
Yeah.
I'm ready for baseball.
I bet you are. Yeah. It's, we all are. And I need people who are still not on the baseball. If people are still listening, they're probably baseball fans because they're like,
that's it.
Really been talking
they're
about
Savannah
this.
Banana fans no matter what.
I would offer you this, and this is a random one, but to really fall in love with baseball, another way to fall in love with it is to listen to it on the radio. If you're not a baseball fan, just turn it on in the background.
Sound, yeah.
It's like a sound machine, but also it all kind of seeps into you and the rhythm of it all. I grew up listening to baseball on the radio and still do. I still listen. Been listening to spring training games, and it's just like, oh, I love this as much for the feeling and the rhythm of spring and summer as I do for the actual like complexity of the game. Like it is the only game that allows itself to be just like, I forget who said it. It may have been Seinfeld. That was just like, it's just guys playing in a park. It's just guys out on a picnic throwing a ball around.
When we were little, my whole growing up life, my dad would, Mr. F. Downs, we would leave baseball games, usually Braves games, usually before they were over, so we didn't have to sit in traffic. And so my memory of listening to baseball is falling asleep to it because we're leaving a baseball game and listening to the 8th and 9th inning in the car.
Little Annie in the back seat listening to the game. Can I make a guess about what your dad wears to a baseball game?
Yeah.
Very professional, nice, comfortable, like whatever, khaki pants, kind of Docker situation.
100%. Yeah.
Collared shirt, buttoned up blue,
Yep.
and a Braves hat, blue hat, red brim.
100%. You've got it.
That is exactly what that dude wears to a baseball game.
100%. My whole life. 100%. Dad will wear his khakis to every Braves game I've ever been to. Sometimes khaki shorts. If it's July, it's khaki shorts. But either way, it's a button up. A blue and white check button up, a navy blue check button up. Yeah. And then a Braves hat. Yeah.
And a Braves hat. And lest he think we're goofing on him, in no way am I. But like you just know what people wear to games. If you know someone, you know what they wear to a game. And Mr. F. Downs is going to wear a team thing. Yeah. But it's going to be weekday evening event, F. Downs. With a hat on.
100%.
You
100%.
are going to go, let's see what you're going to wear. Shoes, like comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like sneakers, shorts, just like a regular. And then I'm going to go t-shirt. Not a big jersey fan. I think maybe you'll do an open jersey with a shirt underneath, but I think generally you're going to do a t-shirt.
I'm not a jersey person. Yes, you're 100% right.
And I'm going to go dark blue.
Yes.
And
Eddie.
I think also, while you do self-admittedly have a small head, I think you probably have a Braves hat that's like one of those like those cloth ones that are like, I don't know, they're like the cloth hats that I think you rock on if it's going to be a summer hot game.
My gosh, I did not know this skill lived in you.
It's a weird thing.
You're 100. You looked at a picture and did that. You looked at a picture of me and Dad at a Braves game and you read us back what we were wearing. That's how good that was.
You can see it all. You can see the whole thing.
Go Braves. Eddie, thanks for working through all that with me today.
Annie, this was somehow I knew we needed to not have a full list, and I think you did, but I just could feel energy in the air. I'm like, time to hit record.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm grateful for you.
I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy this time, and thank you. This is fun. Thanks for having me in your house.
Same. Thanks for letting us be a part of this. All right, friends, go wash your hands.
Oh, sorry, I was about to make "you're my favorite female podcaster" joke, and then I realized I couldn't get to it in time. So anyhow, bye, buddies.
Oh, friends, don't you just love him? What a good one today. Listen, we've got a whole playlist of Annie and Eddie episodes in the show notes for you if you want to go back and listen at any time. And in the comments on That Sounds Fun podcast, on Eddie's post, on my post, we got to know what you know about head size of animals, what you think about talking animals. I just need to, you can also talk to us about the serious stuff we talked about, but would really love your thoughts on talking animals. If you got any questions from this episode, you can drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me. You can also be watching the podcast there too, as well as on YouTube. Or you can send us your questions on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find. Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, really anywhere you need me, that's where you can find me. And I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Today, what sounds fun to me is watching Dansby Swanson play some baseball. So make sure you check him out. Friend of the pod, dear friend of mine. We get to cheer for our friends. So happy brand new baseball season, Dansby. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday as we officially kick off the spring season on That Sounds Fun with our podcast pastor of the seasons, Pastor Mike Kelsey. Just like he did for winter, he's going to help us define what spring really means for us physically, emotionally, spiritually, and give us some warnings about spring that I think you're going to find really helpful. I cannot wait. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Oh, 2 on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new, a deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light. When you're down, get you feeling right. Oh man, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. That sounds fun.